Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. I don't know if you're like me, but I grow quite weary and indeed get kind of angry that every time Vladimir Putin makes a threat, President Biden and his minions immediately look for a desk to crawl under. You know, Biden's saber rattles about nuclear weapons and the administration just goes, oh, no. Oh, no, no, we'll never do anything to offend you. That's a Putin saber rattles. Biden's go, no, 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 we won't do anything. But you know what? The U.S. has a very strong nuclear force. It has a very strong missile defense system that, by the way, was started 4 decades ago by my former boss, Ronald Reagan. I mean, it would be nice just once if Joe Biden said that the United States has the nuclear force to destroy Russia, and that Putin ought not to forget that. Just once blast back at Putin. Or he could say the entire Russian economy is only about 6.5% the size of the American economy. It's all it is. And now the U.S.'s belated sanctions are starting to take hold. We ruin their foreign exchange reserves. Their currency is essentially gone. Their banks are closed down. They're doing great damage to the energy sector. We could do much more in those areas. Maybe we will. But think about this. It takes about 120 rubles to buy a dollar, which is pathetic, like a third world country. And actually, if you live in Russia, it probably takes 200 rubles to buy a dollar. That's even more pathetic. So Joe Biden ought to really start acting like an American first president. Instead of cowering at every Putin statement, Biden should remind Putin of our economic superiority, as well as our military superiority. NATO forces, by the way, and their economies are so totally, vastly, overwhelmingly larger and more powerful than anything Russia could possibly muster. While nobody's perfect in life, the fact is the U.S. and NATO show the great virtues of democracy and a market economy. That, by the way, is what Putin is so afraid of, that it might take hold in Ukraine. Putin's Russia shows the weakness of an authoritarian, undemocratic, state-controlled economy. And in the long run, Putin and his phantasmagorical, ahistorical dreams of a czarist Russian empire will ultimately be doomed to the dustbin of history. He knows it. Most folks know it. Question is, why doesn't Joe Biden know it? Please stop cowering, Mr. Biden. Start acting like the leader of the greatest country in the history of history. You should have slapped the sanctions on before Putin invaded. You told us withholding the sanctions would be a deterrent, but you were wrong. They deterred nothing. Your diplomacy failed. Then you turned around and lied by saying they were never meant to be a deterrent? Really, huh? What in God's name were you talking about? Mr. President, you finally got around, under pressure from Congress, to stop Russian oil imports and start ponying up another $15 billion of additional assistance to the Ukraine. You should have delivered the weapons and the money at the beginning of Putin's adventurism, not after it was too late. I mean, I don't live and die by polls, but, you know, for heaven's sakes, the country wants you, Mr. Biden, to stop leading from behind. Here's some numbers. These are liberal polls. CBS YouGov, 50% say you're not strong enough towards Russia. Only 36 say you're about right. Strongest options against Russia, 65% say they want tougher economic sanctions. That, by the way, means all of their fossil energy exports, all of them. 61% say more weapons and supplies is what they want. Wall Street Journal poll, 55% want more military aid to Ukraine, like weapons and equipment. And 55% want more economic sanctions on Russia. Now, that means, for example, right now, put your stamp of approval on these Polish airplanes going to the Ukraine. Now, Putin calls that an act of war. And there you go again, sir. You're cowering. You're looking for a desk under which to hide. Come out from under your desk and bark back at Putin. Get the airplanes over there. It's just a bunch of old Soviet planes to begin with, for heaven's sakes. First you said yes, then Putin barked, and then you cowered. Well, why don't you bark? Bark! We're sending them all these other weapons, and Putin knows that. He's just toying with you. Stop letting Putin control the play. Stop letting him control the play just like he has since last November at the very beginning of this. Your diplomacy failed, Mr. Biden. You still haven't recovered, and the worst part is the Ukrainian people are suffering very badly, very badly. Now, the great fact here, at least, is the bravery and the courage of the Ukrainians and their president. They've stymied Russia. The performance of the Red Army has been a laughingstock. The so-called 40-mile convoy broke up, well, because it was getting shelled heavily by the brave Ukrainians. The Russian soldiers running away en masse. Russians, by the way, let's go back a bit. The Russians were afraid of Ronald Reagan. The Russians were afraid of Donald Trump. As Machiavelli taught us 500 years ago, it is always better to be feared than loved. If you stood up, Mr. President Biden, if you barked back at Putin, if you put him in his place, if you showed good old-fashioned American backbone and consistency, you could drive Putin to the negotiating table for a peace deal. That is what a strong American president should and could do. But not if you wilt every time Putin does a bit of saber rattling. Act like a president, Mr. Biden, and this whole war against humanity in Ukraine would come to an end, at least without spreading into World War III. Think of it. America first. You are the president of the greatest country in the history of history. Please act like it.